Oh, Kent State. I feel for your players and fans as they showed up throughout the season, really gave it their all, only to finish the season 0-12. It's been a tough season for the Golden Flashes, who became the first team to go 0-12 since Akron achieved the same accomplishment in 2019. It may be the worst season put together by a Division I program in over a century. This is the story of Kent State football's 2024 season. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know what you think Kent State's record will be in 2025 in the comment section below. The last time we took a look at Kent State football was over the summer, where I went over their history and how they became known as one of the worst programs in all of college football. So for full context of how much of a mess this program is, make sure to watch that video first, then come back to check out this video on how it got even worse. I ended that video by saying the man chosen to replace Sean Lewis was Kenny Burns, the associate head coach at Minnesota. Burns started his coaching career in 2007, but saw it take off when he joined PJ Fleck's staff at Western Michigan, helping them go 13-1 and make it to the Cotton Bowl, dominating the MAC. He followed Fleck to Minnesota and became the associate head coach in 2019. Burns had a challenge on his hands as many players entered the transfer portal after Lewis's departure. He brought a strong track record of recruiting, developing, and culture building, being a part of Fleck's noted Row the Boat program for 7 seasons. Things would not go well last season as they finished year 1-11, with their lone win coming against Central Connecticut State. They lost every game by 14 points or more, and finished towards the bottom in every category statistically. They would look to have a better season in year 2 under Burns, but if history has anything to say about that, it seemed unlikely. It didn't look like things could get much worse for Kent State, but somehow they did. Burns had a 1-11 sweatshirt made before the season, hoping it would motivate the team and would help them build on that and improve this year. While their out-of-conference schedule was brutal heading into the season, playing at Pitt, at Tennessee, and at Penn State, they at least had what was believed to be a guaranteed win against St. Francis, an FCS school that finished the 2023 season going 4-6. Then when MAC play started, all expectations could be thrown out the window, as the unexpected always happens in the MAC. You would hope that they would get at least one win in conference play. That would have led to Kent State finishing the year 2-10, which is not great by any way you slice it, but would at least be an improvement from the disastrous 2023 season. Kent State would start the season out swinging, only being down to Pitt 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. That would be the only positives that day, as the Panthers would run away with the game, winning 55-24, and the Golden Flashes were sitting at 0-1 to start the season. While the score hurt, it was what was expected to happen. Move on, learn from your mistakes, and beat St. Francis in the home opener. They had to beat St. Francis, right? Right?
No. Wait.
I have to be reading this wrong. This box score has to be reversed. Kent State could not have gone down 17-0 against an FCS school that finished this season 4-7 and lost to Dayton in their season opener. I'm getting reports that, yes, indeed the box score is correct, and Kent State would really go down 17-0 to an FCS school. While they would crawl back to go into half down 20-14, their comeback would fall short as they would only be able to get a field goal in the second half and lost 23-17, never leading in the game at any point. The Golden Flashes were 0-2. While not great, it was still not the end of the world. Felt like they could lick their wounds and rebound in week 3. Give that team a tough game. So who did Kent State play in week 3? Oh god, it can't be. No. Who made this schedule? They better have gotten the bag for this game because they got their football team's spirit crushed. Kent State traveled to Knoxville for a matchup against then number 7 Tennessee. This game was never turned into a game as Tennessee would curb stomp Kent State 71-0. Kent State was sitting at 0-3 with one more out-of-conference game left to go. Hopefully nothing too crazy, right? Oh lord. How much funding did this school need to keep the athletic department afloat? The Golden Flashes would take on number 10 Penn State in Happy Valley, where they would be destroyed once again 56-0. This team was demoralized, having let up 127 points in 2 games, not scoring a touchdown in 10 quarters, going back to their loss to St. Francis. Their defense was allowing 51.25 points per game, while their offense only scored an average of 10.25 points per game. They would open up MAC play against Eastern Michigan after their gauntlet of an out-of-conference schedule and went down 7-0 early in the game. Though, with 30 seconds left in the first quarter, they scored their first touchdown in 2.5 games, snapping their touchdown streak at 10 quarters. Although they would go into half only down 21-14, Eastern Michigan would pull away in the second half to win 52-33. Kent State was now 0-5. Following their bye week, Kent State would host Ball State in search of their first win of the season, though they would quickly find themselves down 10-0 by the end of the first, and were down 27-7 early in the third quarter. Yet for once this season, Kent State showed fight in the second half, as they would come back within 2 points of Ball State, scoring 28 points in the second half, but coming up short in the end, 37-35. It was a heartbreaking failed comeback that must have crushed the spirit of the team even more. They were now 0-6. They would travel on the road to take Bowling Green on in Game 7, and once again found themselves down 10-3 by the end of the first quarter. The Golden Flashes failed to find the end zone during the game, losing 27-6. They moved to 0-7 and eliminated from bowl eligibility. The Western Michigan game would be a complete and utter disaster, as they found themselves down 38-0 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter, but saved the half with a late touchdown pass with 10 seconds left in the half to go into halftime down 38-7. They would eventually lose the game 52-21. If the Western Michigan game was bad, the Ohio game would be even worse, as the Bobcats destroyed Kent State 41-0. As a surprising little fact, Kent State would take their first lead of the season when they scored on their first drive against Miami of Ohio. It only took 10 games to take a lead, but that would be their only score of the day, as they would be destroyed once again 34-7 to make it 0-10 on the season. With 2 games left in the season, if they wanted to improve record-wise, they were going to need to win out. For the second game in a row, Kent State would take a 7-0 lead against Akron, but would basically be shut down most of the game. Heading into the fourth quarter, they were down 38-10. For a late touchdown with just over 5 minutes left in the game made the final score 38-17. Finally, on Tuesday, Kent State would finally be put out of their misery on the road against Buffalo. Like most of the season, things did not go well, as Buffalo would destroy them 43-7 to steal their fate as the first team to go 0-12 since Akron did the same in 2019. The 2020 season featured a slew of winless teams in the COVID-shortened season, including Louisiana Monroe going 0-10. But Kent State was the first team since Akron in 2019 to play at least 12 games and failed to win any of them. Some crazy facts surrounding the season that are almost impressive in their own right. Kent State only led in a game twice all year long, and it would be a 7-0 lead in their 10th and 11th game of the season. They would lose 9 of their games by at least 3 touchdowns, and going back to last season, have lost 21 straight games. Sadly, this is not the first time Kent State went winless in a season. The 2024 winless season is the first in program history since 1998, when the Golden Flashes went 0-11. Kent State also has a record 0-11 campaign in 1982, 1989, and 1993. They were an onside kick recovery call away from not even being in the conversation, but nothing bounced their way this year. Entering Week 12, Kent State ranked last among all NCAA teams in offensive yards per game, averaging 235.5 yards. Defensively, the Golden Flashes allowed the most yards of any team, averaging 522.1 yards allowed per game. And their 44.2 points allowed per game was the most since Kansas allowed 45 per game in the COVID-shortened 2020 season. They were outscored 529-167, which is an impressive negative 362-point differential. They also lost their first and second string quarterbacks early in the season. One crazy thing is, there was actually someone who bet that Kent State would make the college football playoffs for the season, and that bettor bet $100 would have won $1 million had they made it. Burns is 1-23 as head coach at Kent State, and things do not look that hopeful that things will be getting better anytime soon. They may go down as one of the worst FBS teams to play a season in college football history, and it's extremely heartbreaking to say that. What do you think? Who is the worst FBS program in college football? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.